Hi and welcome to Knowledgist. Hope all of you doing well. Just hours after Principal Economic Advisor Sanjeev Sanyal concluded his economic survey speech, we are here at Knowledgist to decode all about economic survey in the point of view of bank exams and in bankers' perspective. Also in this show, we will be talking about the hot MCQs from economic survey. Before that, if in case some of you are new to the platform, I urge all of you to kindly subscribe to your platform. And before I could start, I also want to tell all of you that today is also we achieved another milestone at Knowledgist by covering 10,000 followers mark in the most professional social media platform, that is LinkedIn. All the links are there in description. You find us out because today is a very important session. I don't want to waste your time and our time. So do confirm whether I'm clearly audible to all of you or not. I know that all of you are anxiously waiting about this session to start. So let's begin with few points. Economic Survey 2021-2022, and inside the class we will be discussing about economic survey, facts and figures related to economic survey, special focus on banking, Agile framework first time used in the economic survey statement, and MCQs thereafter. तो आज का ये जो सेशन है सिंपल इंग्लिश और थोड़ा बहुत हिंदी में रहने वाला है. आई डोंट वांट टू टेक सेपरेट सेशन ऑन दैट, so I will try to make it as far as possible in simple English, right? So should we start now? And all the banking courses, study material, everything is available at knowledgist.in. And I also want to tell you that we are the only platform dedicated to professional banking segment, that is journalist officer and specialist officer. And here is the Telegram channel link, that is telegram/knowledgist. And we are launching telegram/RBI career group where the upcoming RBI grade B classes to start. So here is the economic survey 2022. What is economic survey? This is nothing but the report card of the government, right? This is nothing but the report. Yes. Thank you everyone for joining and give a thumbs up. Like कर दीजिए सेशन को शुरू करने से पहले, and I guarantee you after this you will have no doubt on economic survey. और सारा एक concise class होने वाला है, and I will be covering almost all important things. Or later inside our classes, inside our application, we will decode it further. But today is going to be the most comprehensive economic survey class, and I also bet that this will not be available anywhere in internet. So let's begin. The economic survey is presented every year in the parliament during the budget session. As all of you know, today is the start of budget session. First our president started his address to two houses, that is Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. President Kovind ji has addressed. Thereafter, due to COVID, Nirmala Sitharaman ji has first addressed in Lok Sabha, then she presented it in Rajya Sabha hours after her presentation in Lok Sabha. Somewhere around 11:45 she presented it in Lok Sabha, and 2:30 around she presented it in Rajya Sabha. And thereafter Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal, who is a principal economic advisor, he presented it through the PIB YouTube platform, right? And it was for the first time it was live broadcast. So you all got the action throughout the day, but we will not cover all of that. We will cover what is essential for your exam point of view to understand what is economic survey, how it is different than a budget, and everything about that. Okay, the economic survey normally presented a day before the budget, so that means it is obvious that tomorrow is going to be the budget day, and tomorrow at evening we will have a very separate and specific session on budget. So don't miss it. Stay tuned, stay subscribed for that. So first economic survey in India was presented in the year 1950 and 51, and up to 1964 it was presented along with the union budget, and from 1964 it was separated from union budget. So hope you understand what is the difference between budget and economic survey. Economic survey is the report card, what we have done in the current fiscal year, and budget is what we are going to do in our coming fiscal year and economic survey states out the agenda of the government. It outlines the priorities of the government, and the findings of the economic survey takes a place, finds its place in budget, but not all the points, because budget is more practical in nature. Economic survey is the aspiration of the state of India's economy, right? Hope all of you getting it. Are you all ready? So please don't ask any question beyond economic survey today. We have a very important session, and I have tried to point out all the important facts and figures related to banking industry. I will be addressing all your concerns after the class is over. I know that access is not given. IT team was busy on revamping our courseware because we are coming in a large scale starting from next week. So hope you will be waiting for the updates. So let's move to understand more about economic survey. The economic survey is prepared by the economics division of Department of Economic Affairs in the Finance Ministry, and you know that there is REGIC, there is change in the Chief Economic Advisor's position. So much of it could be your bank exam question. So straight look into the slides on your screen. The economic survey, you know that it is prepared by the economics division of DEA, that is Department of Economic Affairs in the Finance Ministry, under the overall guidance of the Chief Economic Advisor, and is released after it is approved by the Finance Minister. Every time this Chief Economic Advisor presented, but the one who prepared it is no more in the position. Mr. Arvind Subramaniam has just left, and K. Subramaniam has left, and this gap is now being filled by new Chief Economic Advisor, right? So he is not there to present, so that's why the Principal Economic Advisor is present, has presented it today through PIB YouTube platform, right? So I will be telling you all the names of the Chief Economic Advisor. Hope all of you got it, but as it is an MCQ question, I am not naming him right now. So I will be put it till the MCQs are on your screens. Okay, since the economic survey analyzes the overall performance of the economy during the year, so therefore it helps providing a better understanding to prepare to decode the union budget of India. So the basic difference between economic survey and union budget we have outlined here. Economic survey presented every year in the parliament during the budget session. It is presented before one day, and the union budget is normally presented in 1st of February, so that during the fiscal year which is concluded in 31st March, before that union budget can be approved by the cabinet, can be approved by both the houses of the parliament, and this will become the this becomes the projected balance sheet of the state of India. And then once it is approved, as per the union budget, we do our expenditure and we generate our revenue. Like in 64 it was presented up to 64 it was presented along with budget, which we discussed. It reviews, economic survey reviews developments in the Indian economy over past financial year and outlines our achievements, and union budget essentially says what we are going to do so that there will be no fiscal deficit, or we will achieve greater rights in terms of social segment, in terms of financial segment, etc. Okay. So economic survey reviews the development in Indian economy over the past financial year, and it summarizes the performance of major development programs, highlights policy initiative, etc. So in today's before I could go to the detailed facts and figures of the economic survey 2021, let's understand what is Agile framework, based on which Indian budget, the union budget is going to take place, or the economic survey, or the India has recently adopted the Agile framework for development. So what is that Agile framework which is being mentioned by our Principal Economic Advisor, Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal? So he says Agile framework is going to be the leading concept of India's development. So Agile is the what is the meaning of Agile? It is dynamic, more smart, right? So Agile represents an overreaching philosophy for software development it's normally used in software development. So we quote the Agile framework for software development, but you can understand it in larger prospects. So it is for philosophy for social development, emphasizing the value of reiterating the quickly and often satisfying the customer. It is a framework for project and policy implementation that is considered highly efficient for getting work done. So Agile framework is nothing but analyzing the existing data in order to provide greater customer satisfaction, right? So prior to Agile framework, what was the framework India was adopting? India has adopted till now. It has adopted waterfall approach. But as we are heading towards IT revolution, the information technology has boomed in Indian subcontinent. So we have now moved to Agile framework, and this Agile framework is something that flourishes on real-time availability of data. And as data is nowadays, it is called data is the new fuel. So that's why we are now changing our prospects towards the Agile framework. Okay, it is economical to implement, and the real-time availability of data allows us constantly monitoring of a policy at a time where there is a lot of uncertainties. This helps governments to adopt the Agile framework, and it leads to greater customer satisfaction or end user satisfaction, right? So like I know that from real-time data analysis, I know my viewers, my students come out of office at 9 o'clock. So I set my class right at 9 o'clock. That's why we meet our end user, or we reach maximum subscriber, or we reach maximum viewers. So that is the we do with the help of real-time data. We analyze that most of my viewers watch me after 8:30 o'clock. So whenever I have to schedule a live class, I schedule based on that data. We also at Knowledgist work a lot on a data, and that you will be getting to know in coming days too. And it is also evident that we have just crossed 10,000 mark in the most professional platform, that is in LinkedIn. So any one of you is in case new to the platform, do subscribe. Yes. So what is barbell strategy? Barbell strategy we have adopted, and this is something that is being discussed today in the address of principal economic advisor. So I wanted to point out what is barbell strategy for all of you. So the center has adopted a barbell strategy, that is will be a combined banquet for safety nets and cushion to the impact of vulnerable sections of society and business, with a flexible policy responses based on Bayesian updating of information. So all that you will get, what is barbell strategy, you will get to know from this picture below the barbell strategy, where it is written. It is nothing but combination of safe decisions and very risky decisions. Okay, you do a cushion, or you do an act of balancing between safe contents and very risky contents. Getting it or not? Is it clear? Is it clear? So the decisions that is related to safety of our consumers, safety of our citizens is taken, and at the same time we as an economy also take very risky decisions in order to grow a very faster pace, like we did a bold step in doing self-reliant India or Atmanirbhar Bharat. And you know that after implementation of the self-reliant India scheme, many foreign countries got irritated. Like you know, after the government tried a lot to promote the rupee-based card, then the Amex and Visa got together to sue the Indian government, and they complained in USA against the India and Modi government against India's biased approach towards the rupee cards. Right? So these are very risky decisions, and that risky decisions made RuPay another player in the card business, and UPI one of the biggest digital payment platform. So these are risky decisions we as an economy taking. At the same time, we are also taking decisions that are related to safety nets, the safety of our consumers, the safety of our end users, the safety of our banking customers, everyone, right? So is it clear to all of you now? Is it clear? Yes, so please give a thumbs up. Very, very sensible, very intense class is going on. It is not for everyone. It is only for those who want to make a bright career in banking. Not everyone could understand all this concept that we are discussing. So we will urge all of you to do like, and in case you are new, please subscribe. Okay, so this is Indian economy in a snapshot. We will discuss GDP growth. In this fiscal year, it is expected at 9.2, and in the upcoming fiscal year it should be 8.2 8.5%. The fiscal deficit stands at 6.8. Inflation, WPI inflation is at 12.5%, whereas the CPI combined is at 5.2. Foreign exchange reserves stood at whooping $633.6 billion, and in industrial growth is 11.8 in coming fiscal year, which is predicted, and the service sector growth is at 8.2. Okay, the GDP growth is on your screens, is somewhere is for this year it is 9.2, and in coming year the economic survey predicts our GDP growth to stand somewhere around 8 to 8.5%. Right? The inflation is worrisome. I know all of you know that due to inflation our stock markets are crashing, and also worldwide there is a high inflation, and this is only due to the recovery after COVID era, and we are feeling the pinch of the COVID, so that's why inflation is rising. So inflation is right now stands at 12.5%. Okay, so India's forex reserve is now something which we discuss a lot, and if you have closely watched the Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal addressing in YouTube, he was essentially saying that many commentators were complaining against India's whooping foreign reserve. Some economists asking the government to reduce the foreign reserve. So they are saying that with this much of high foreign reserve, we are losing the opportunity to invest more and more. But he said that this whooping foreign reserve helps us meet our helps us make India a strong economy. So that was his counter. Hope all of you have seen it. So India now stands at the 4th position after China, Japan, and Switzerland in the forex reserve market. Okay, India is the 4th highest forex reserve, and I have taken a very separate class to make you understand what is the forex reserve. Forex reserve not necessarily means only the foreign exchange, foreign currency. It is it has 4 components: gold, forex reserve, the IMF tranche. Okay, so let's go ahead. Fiscal deficit stands at 6.8. Okay, and in 2021 it was around 9.2%, and the budget estimate is around 6.8% in the fiscal year 2021 and 2022. The difference between total revenue and total expenditure of the government is termed as fiscal deficit. Right? What is fiscal deficit? The difference between revenue and expenditure. When the revenue is less, expenditure is high, there is fiscal deficit, and when you whatever you do to fill the gap or fill the deficit is called deficit financing. There are various ways of deficit financing. One way of deficit financing is printing more currency. Another way of financing the deficit is taking loans. Loans can be taken in 2 ways. One is from domestic market and the other one is from external markets. The loan that is being taken to cater the fiscal deficit from external market is called ECB, or external commercial borrowing. Okay, so we'll go very quickly on the service sector, developments in service sector. India's share in world commercial services exports increased to 4.1% in 2020. If you have seen the recent 4-5 exams being conducted by IBPS, you will find that they are nowadays asking extensively on these kind of numbers. So I will like all of you to look deeply into these numbers whenever we discuss. With 14,000 new startups in 2021 and 2022, India is now the 3rd largest startup ecosystem in the world. So this is evident from the new blockbuster series from Sony televisions, that is the Shark Tank. It's being very popular. So that seems the craze in Indian market towards the startup. So major reforms included removal of telecom regulations in IT BPO sector and opening of space sector into private players. 44 Indian startups achieved the unicorn status in 2021, taking the tally to 83. So now there is total 83 unicorns in India. So I will ask all of you to answer what is a unicorn in respect of startups. Your answers, please. And 82% growth expected overall in the service sector. Muted response of second wave shown by high frequency indicators like purchasing managers index and air and rail freight. 21.6% growth in service exports, $16.7 billion FDI in service sector, 54% of the total FDI inflow in the first half of 2021-22 goes to the service sector itself. Okay, and the WPI inflation increased to 12.5% from April to December. Average headline CPI combined reduced to 5.2%. Food inflation reduced to 2.9% in April to December. Effective supply side management kept prices under control. The IIP growth stands at 7.4% during April to November. All-time high net profit to sales ratio of large corporates is somewhere around 10.6%. And PLI, performance linked incentive scheme, introduced to scale off various industries. I think all of you know about it. So and 75 companies in India has raised IPO during the period of April to November. Okay, so and in banking segment we'll be talking about now YoY bank credit growth increased to 5.3% to 9.2% in December 2021. Gross NPA of scheduled commercial bank stands around 11.2%. Net NPA goes down from 6% in 17-18 to 2.2% in September 2021. Capital to risk weighted asset ratio of SCBs now stands at 16.54%. Liquidity in the system remained surplus. Credit to agriculture sector registered robust growth. Revenue receipt during April to November has gone up to 67.2%. These are the most important numbers, and this is the most important GDP predictions from World Bank at 8.7%, ADB at 7.5%, World Economic Outlook at 9%. So we will now be talking about the developments that has recently happened in banking sector and which economic survey outlined today. The GNPA ratio, that means gross non-performing asset. What is the difference between GNPA and net NPA? When you minus the provisioning from GNPA, it comes down to net NPA, right? So the GNPA ratio of scheduled commercial bank decreased to 6.9%. Net NPA stands at 2.2%. Restructured standard advances ratio of SCBs increased from 0.4% to 1.5% during the same period. Restructured standard asset means the assets that were stressed earlier, but it was restructured, revamped in order to make them a standard asset. Before I take a sip of water, I would urge all of you just to subscribe us. Okay, I will also be looking into few of your comments. It's going on very many of you are asking repeated questions. Yeah, today all of us were busy on the economic survey. Many of you have not got the response. So all the responses will be made just after the class is over. All the people who have registered today has not got enrolled to the application. So that will be done. Don't worry about it. We are very professional in this segment, but today our whole focus was on the economic survey and few internal developments in application on which IT was working today. So I know few responses were not made. Okay. So the GNPA ratio of public sector banks decreased from 9.4% at the end of September 2020 to 8.6% at the end of September 2021. Yeah. So let's move to the next one. Capital to risk weighted asset ratio. We have discussed all this in our internal Basel class, so it is also important. And also the economic survey outlines the capital to risk weighted asset ratio for SCBs, and that is increased from 15.84 to 16.54. The improvement in CRAR level of PSBs was due to capital infusion by government alongside fundraising from markets, but private sector don't get capital infusion from the government, so they have raised it from market itself. Okay, based on the capital position September 30 2021, public sector and private sector bank has maintained CCB well over the required 2.5%. I think all of you know that the CCB requirement is 2.5%. CCB and please tell me what is the requirement of counter cyclical buffer. How much is the percentage requirement as per Basel? Yes. So based on capital position September 30, CCB has improved. SCB's annualized return on asset has also improved, and also return on equity has improved from 7.7% to 9%. Okay. So there is a there is a discussion about NARCL in the economic survey PDF today. So we will also be outlining that for you. I have taken a complete class on NARCL. NARCL was incorporated on 7th July 2021 and has received certificate of registration from the RBI to commence the business of an asset reconstruction company from 4th October 2021. Okay, so the NARCL is nothing but asset reconstruction company, but it's a national asset reconstruction company, and you know that it is enacted or it is established as per the SURFACE Act 2002. SURFACE Act 2002 paves way for the establishment of NARCL. This is a MCQ question for your upcoming exams. Do remember, because this is recently formed, and they will not be asking silly question. They will be asking laws related to NARCL. NARCL will majorly be owned by public sector banks. Canara Bank will be the maximum stakeholder with 12% equity. NARCL would be capitalized through a combination of equity and debt from various banks and will have finite life of 5 years. It may acquire stressed asset about 2 lakh crore approx in multiple phases within the extant regulation of RBI under a 1585 structure, 15% equity, 85% debt, implying that the consideration for acquisition will be 15% in cash and 15% in cash and 85% in security receipts. And the India Debt Resolution Company Limited was incorporated in 3rd September 2021 and will have minimum 51% ownership of private sector banks, and a balance will be held by public sector banks. So what will happen, how NARCL and IDRCL will deal in between? NARCL will acquire the stressed asset and IDRCL will try to restructure or try to sell it to the try to revamp that debt. Okay. So bank credit goes 5.3% in the beginning of 2021, and by 17th December 2021 it stands around 7.3%. Non-food bank credit growth that remained muted during the much of the pandemic period and stayed at sub 6% through Q1 2021-2022 has gradually improved and stood at 9.3%. Okay. And the credit, non-food bank credit, and what is the difference between non-food bank credit and food bank credit? Can anyone tell me what is the difference between non-food bank credit and food bank credit? Non-food bank credit is the credit that is given to agriculture, industry and services. Okay. So what is the non-food bank credit? Can anyone tell me? Can anyone tell me? I am waiting for the answers, and by the time people answer us, I will urge all of you to subscribe. Yeah, Food bank credit is the loan that is given by banks to the FCI. Food Corporation of India is called food bank credit, and non-food bank credit is the loans given to other than FCI. Clear? Yes, very good, very good. Those who have not got answers today, I was busy on this kind of things. I was also having my sole eye on economics survey today, and it was very important for tomorrow's budget session. So please ping us after this session. I will be addressing them. So don't worry, it takes time for everything. Okay, so let's go ahead. And in digital payment segment, unified payment interface, that is UPI, has become the largest payment infrastructure. Once you get it, you will find it. Get the PDF, you will find everything. And we will have subsequent 2 sessions on economic survey to find out the best MCQs and the concepts that is discussed in economic survey, because it is a 500-page PDF. So many things need to be analyzed, and most of the questions come in data segment comes from economic survey. So RBI and the Monetary Authority of Singapore announced a project to link the link UPI and Pay Now, which is targeted for operationalization by July 2022. Also, Bhutan recently became the first country to adopt UPI standards for its QR code. It is also second country after Singapore to have Bhim UPI acceptance at merchant location. And there is also a discussion about factoring, which I found out from the economic survey, and I can bet that none of the economic survey classes have covered all these things. So in economic survey they have also discussed about factoring, which I really loved. Okay, so factoring is an important source of liquidity worldwide, especially for MSME. And what you know that whatever is important for government, for economics, for our finance ministry is important for bank exams. So don't underestimate anything that is being mentioned in the economic survey. So we will also discuss in this session very quickly what is factoring. I have outlined all about factoring. Factoring is a transaction where an entity sells its receivables to the third party for immediate funds. I have always said, if you and I doing a business, you have bought 10 computers from me worth 10 lakhs, right? You have bought it in debt, that means you don't have money to pay me. So you said me, after your salary is getting credited, you will pay back me the total 10 lakhs of rupees, right? So there was a bill due to you. So what will I do now? Because I need funds immediately to run my business, and for any business liquidity is the major concern. So I will go and sell your dues to third party to get the money immediately, right? So that is called factoring. Okay, all part of the invoice can be sold to a factor for getting money immediately at a competitive interest rate. The factor then collects the payment from the buyer of goods and earns a commission from in form of some interest, right? So now you don't need to pay me the money which is due to me, that is 10 lakhs. You will pay to the NBFC from where I have financed your bill. So there is a bill which says that on so and so date you will give me rupees 10 lakhs, but I need money immediately. So I will sell it to a factor company. I will pay them interest for the period, for the uncollected period. Till then it is collected from you, I have to pay interest. So the factor company will earn interest and they will collect money from you. It is different than bill discounting. In bill discounting, a bank or NBFC gives a certain percentage of the total outstanding value of invoice to the seller, and most cases the seller has to take the responsibility for the payment invoice by the buyer to the factor. Hope you are getting it. We are getting a little intense in the economic survey class, but I hope this is all okay for you. Is it clear? I'll also be looking into your live comments. Yeah, in case any doubt, please ping me. In case any doubt, please ping me. I will be answering them immediately. So, however, in case of factoring, the factor takes on the responsibility for collection of the invoices. So, in bill discounting, what is your responsibility when you go for a bill discounting? You will help the factor or the NBFC or the bank to collect the bill amount. But in factoring, you don't do nothing. The NBFC or bank itself collect the money. There are different types of factoring, with recourse and without recourse. With recourse factoring, where seller has to pay back the advance obtained from the factor if buyer of goods fails to pay, and without recourse factoring, where factor bears the risk of default in case of non-payment of buyer of goods. So where it is with recourse, there is no risk to the NBFC or bank. But without recourse, in case that customer fails, you don't pay me, that loss will be borne by the factoring company or the NBFC. And why we are discussing factoring in India in economic survey? Because in 2021 there is a factoring regulation amendment act as per the recommendations of UK Sinha committee. So that is why it is important. I don't pick anything that is unnecessary or not important. So as per the Factoring Act 2021, 4 types of entities were allowed to engage in factoring business: banks, statutory corporations, NBFCs, and companies which have to obtain the specific registration from RBI. And there is another rule that any company which is engaged or which more than 50% revenue comes from factoring business can be registered as a factoring company. If you are intended to do a factoring business in India, so you have to solely engage in factoring business, or your main business should be factoring business. So that's quite risky. That's why there is a regulation, and that's why till now India has only 7 factoring companies. I know few of them, like IFCI, a BB factoring company. There is a Canada Bank factoring company. So I don't know all the 7 names. You can Google it out. Also, it is mentioned in the PDF of the official PDF of government. But this much is what is important. I have point out. And in this amendment, they have removed the option of principal business category. That is, more than 50% should come from your factoring business. Okay. So yeah, let's dive into the MCQs and the most important MCQs now on your screens. And before I go deep into it, I urge all of you just to subscribe us. Hope all of you enjoying the session today. It is intense, but I know that something which is not so sweet is always beneficial for health. So that's how our classes go on. Yeah, India's weight on the DAS index plays an important role in attracting FPI investments in equity market. MCSI EM, GDP growth, ranking in IMF, Nasdaq emerging market. So why I'm asking this question? Because nowadays deep economic questions are being asked in bank exams. So hope you can find relevance as per the current exam pattern. They are not asking what you believe to be a question. They are asking where intense banking knowledge is required or intense economics knowledge is required. Right? So these are the most relevant questions. 10 MCQs I will cover today. But coming days, after 1 week, tomorrow we'll have budget session. Day after tomorrow we'll have RBI circular gist session. But after that, I will be covering top 100 MCQs from economic survey in our application for enrolled students. So what should be the right answer? Can anyone guess? Because we have not discussed it, but I put it as a question. Your answers, please. I'm looking forward to your answers. If you don't know, you can also eliminate. You can eliminate and give an answer. Prashant Patidar answering A. Yes, ranking in IMF, Mangesh is saying. No, see, the emerging market is used twice. So that means they want to the question maker wants to create a confusion among the 2 options of emerging market. So that's how things work. So if you have to anyway have to take a calculated risk. So why don't you go with A or D, one among A or D? Yeah, Kesav Anand, very good. Neha Anand saying A. So I'm very happy. Those who have guessed A, because we have not covered it, I believe that most of you have guessed it. Those who have guessed A has done a very good risk and taken a very calculative risk, and I'm very happy about that. The right answer is A, MSCI emerging market. MSCI Inc. is an American finance company headquartered at New York City. MSCI is a global provider of equity, fixed income, real estate indexes, multi-asset portfolio analysis tools, ESG and climate change products. It operates the MSCI World, MSCI All Country World Index and MSCI Emerging Market Indexes. One of the most popular MSCI indices is MSCI EM Index, which tracks equity performance, capturing large and mid-cap companies across 25 emerging market countries, including India. Somewhere index is mentioned, somewhere indices is mentioned. So can anyone tell me what is the difference between index and indices? Can anyone tell me what is the difference between index and indices? This is how my classes work. I am here to clear all the fundamentals. In case you have slightest doubt in the fundamentals, you cannot clear a banking exam nowadays. It needs immense speciality to clear simplest thing. Don't run behind tough things always. Simplify everything. So what is the difference between index and indices? It is nothing but the indices is the plural form of index, right? More than one index is called indices. So don't confuse yourselves. So let's move to the question number 2. As per data available from NSDL, 2020-2021 witnessed FPI inflows over rupees dash crore into the Indian equity market. FPI stands for Foreign Portfolio Investor. I don't believe that I need to tell you the full form of NSDL. So what is the amount? 1.74 lakh, 2.74 lakh, rupees 3.74 lakh, rupees 12.74 lakh. I have not discussed. I will be answering it quickly. So I will not make you do wild guesses, because your time and my time is both valuable. So I know it, but here the options also make it very confusing because the numbers are related, but in a real exam you will not find that closely. The right answer is option number B, 2.74 lakh, but here they have mentioned it very closely. And as I always say, that options make a question difficult or easy. And please work on elimination. Nowadays you cannot crack exam only with MCQ based knowledge or only by knowing the right answer. There will be so many questions where you don't know right, you will not be knowing the right answer, but you will be knowing the wrong answers. So work hard on elimination process. So with total 4.2% of insurance penetration, India stands at which position in international comparison of insurance penetration? 12th position, 13th position, 16th position, 20th position. What is the insurance penetration? How many Indian people has taken life insurance? How many Indian citizens has taken non-life insurance? So that is the insurance penetration to our market. So as we have not discussed it, I will not let you go on wild guesses. The answer is C. With 12% penetration, USA is in first position. India's life insurance penetration stands at 3.2, whereas the non-life insurance is 1%. Non-life insurance means the general insurance. Hope you know all that. Okay. So again, as per the Economic Survey 2022, which state tops the list in the number of APY accounts? Atal Pension Yojana. As it is a social security scheme, it may constitute your MCQ question. So that's why this question is on your screens. So which could be the biggest state in respect to the number of APY accounts opened? UP, Bihar, West Bengal, Maharashtra. Any answers? Let me check how you people are doing. Yeah, Mangesh, you were not right on index and indices part. Hope you got yourself rectified. Neha saying, Barun Rai saying A, very good. The state with highest population also contributes more in APY numbers. And thanks to bankers anyway, only it is because of bankers and their targets, the APY numbers are being achieved. Counter me if I am wrong. So answer A, solution is UP with 51.9 lakh in APY accounts. As per Economic Survey 2022, during 2021 and 2022, April to December, which was the major drivers of retail inflation? Food and beverages, miscellaneous and food, fuel and light, housing, clothing and footwear. So let me tell you, the inflation is a cause of worry throughout the world that is driving down our share markets globally. So it could be your next question. You should know why of everything. I tell always to my students to know why and what of everything. So it is why the inflation. If inflation is happening, so what are the goods, services which are getting where price is being raised, and that is driving inflation. Inflation is what? Price rise. So which type of commodity, price of which type of commodities are rising in a sharp rate, so that is driving the inflation. And during first wave of COVID, the food and beverage prices were very high. That was driving inflation at that point of time. But this year, something else is driving the the inflation, and that is nothing but fuel and light and miscellaneous. Miscellaneous is other, and these are the parameters those drive. There are 5 things that normally drive the inflation: food and beverage, fuel and light. Fuel means crude oil, etc. Light energy, housing, clothing and footwear, tobacco, pan, gutka, etc. And miscellaneous, which is not included among them. But this time, the price rise or the inflation is due to fuel and light, miscellaneous, and this is especially due to the hike in crude prices, and the miscellaneous part contributes the highest in this inflation. Clear? Is it clear? Are you all enjoying this session? But why don't you like? Go ahead and like this session. Nowhere this intense MCQs, the real MCQs, the MCQs that even we have not discussed. To save your time, things that we have not discussed are formed MCQs, so it will save your time. I am very judicious to spend my time, and I am also very judicious when it comes to time of my student, because effective time management can give you results, and your result is my success invariably. So yes. Okay, next question is, who is India's new chief economic advisor? Dr. V.A. Nageswaran. That's why I have not answered that point at that point of time. Sanjeev Sanyal, Arvind Subramaniam, K. Subramanian. Who is the new India's chief economic advisor? Dr. V.A. Nageswaran, Sanjeev Sanyal, Arvind Subramaniam, K. Subramanian. I need the answers because this is very much in news for last 2 days, and that's why the outgoing chief economic advisor has not presented economic survey. Principal economic advisor has to present it. So yes, Mangesh saying C, Prashant Patidar saying B. The right answer is option number A, as very rightly put out by you. Nageswaran was the former member of the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council, which is known as PMEAC, and he is the 18th Chief Economic Advisor of India. So why do onions and tomatoes go through massive price hikes as per the economic survey? And why this question? It looks funny to all of you, I know, but this has got immense attraction, or this has catched the imagination of many people, and it is now trending in Twitter. Business Standard has given a report just after economic survey is released, and this is very much trending because this is being mentioned in economic survey, and the PIB has tweeted this, and they have just tweeted like this: why do the onion and tomato price is rising? There is hike in the onions and tomato price. So, and that's why I spend my time judiciously to find out what's happening in the economic space today after the release or before the release of economic survey, and that's why many of your messages, calls were unanswered. So I believe that you will forgive me, but I have really done a research along with my team, along with my banking mentors. So I believe that you all will appreciate us for that. So yes, so as it is on discussion and it could be a question or it could be interview question too. So can you tell me what do onions and tomatoes, why do onions and tomatoes go through massive price hike? Lots of seasonality, irregular components, less import, or both A and B? Your answers please. Your answers please. You know that this kind of question making, this kind of summary making, gist of economic survey is not an easy thing, because you have to find out what is not important for your students and why what is going to be important. So it takes time, dear friends. Yeah, so the answer here is A and B both. Lots of seasonality in line with the harvesting cycle, irregular components contributed by weather shocks, and the solution ahead for dropping the onion and tomato price is the financial instrument and supply chains which can smoothen this out, says the economic survey. Right? Do you really love the question? How many of you love the question? And it could be an interview question for your upcoming exams, and it could definitely be an economic be an interview question, I believe. How many of you loved that question? Please tell me. As per economic survey, the Agile framework is particularly relevant today because for the availability of real-time data for constant monitoring, mobile technology, road and transport, or all of the above. Your answers please. Your answers please. You can see the art of question making from our end. I am really thankful to be joined by so much of question maker with 10 years of experience. One mentor has joined us. I will not reveal his identity, but I'm very thankful. One question maker with 10 years of question making experience for various bank exams has joined us recently, and that's why you see change in our question making pattern from last 20 to 25 days. So we're really thankful for that. Yeah, thank you. All of you say loved it. Thank you for that. Yeah, Manoj Verma is saying real-time data for constant monitoring, and I really love the way you people are answering. A is the right answer, and you people were not carried out by the option all of the above, which sometimes becomes the right answer. The solution is for the previous one, so just concentrate on the answer part. That is the all of the above. So India was the fourth largest forex reserves holder in the world. So who is in the first spot? China, Japan, Switzerland, USA. Which one is in the first spot? Subham Jhunjhunwala A. Deepak, you missed it out. You missed it out this time. Yeah, so I know that all of you will be answering it very rightly. All of you will answer it rightly. In case someone has joined us late, will not mind subscribing us, please do subscribe. Yeah, so which one? China, Japan, Switzerland, USA. I need the right answer, and no doubt all of you know it. China is in the top position, and the options are really in order. China at first spot, Japan at second spot, Switzerland at third spot. USA don't need it because dollar is widely used as forex reserve. So India's foreign exchange reserve, which stands at whooping US dollar 634 billions, is equivalent to dash months of our imports. So how much amount we pay for every month in imports? So the reserve we are currently having is equivalent to how many times of our monthly imports? 15 times of our 1 month import, 12 times, 13.2 or 12.3. We have not discussed. I will not let you go with wild guesses. That will not be for knowledge development. So I will be answering it straight away. It is 13.2. It is equivalent to 13.2 months of import, and it is higher than country's total external debt. It is higher than country's total external debt. So how much of Pakistan would be jealous today because they don't have a single penny in name of forex reserve? So where India stand, it is really phenomenal. After 1992 crisis, when we were having no money left, and to this date, it's really a commending job that this Indian economy and we people have done in these years. Yeah, so that is an end of the session, and I think all of you loved us. And with this note, I will also want to reiterate that we crossed 10,000 mark in LinkedIn, which is not a small figure, because LinkedIn for professionals, and no one who uh, no one who is not serious in banking can cross 10,000 mark. Even few banks are there who are below the marks, not all PSBs, but few banks we pointed out who are below the mark, uh, below our follower mark. So don't forget to explore us in LinkedIn. And nowadays we are updating banking updates, banking news, banking MCQs on a go in our Instagram, which is in rise right now. We have also a Facebook handle. We are more than 20,000 in various Telegram groups run by this platform. And do join our Telegram channel, that is telegram/knowledgist. Also, don't forget to join our newest group, RBI Carrier, where the next RBI Grade B class to commence. So thanking all of you once again for your time, love and support. Before I let you go, please